Hey allihopa, what's up everyone and welcome back to another video from Say It in Swedish. I'm your host, JOAKIM, and today we're gonna take a look at the 3 additional letters in the Swedish alphabet. Silly Norwegians. That's neither the order of the letters, nor is that what they look like. They look like this. And you say O, A, Ö when they are in the alphabet. But we have actually 10 sounds to cover here, so let's jump right into it. Let's begin with the letter O, as we say in Swedish, and this letter is not just an A with a ring on top. This is not a ring, this is a ring. And it's not just a ring on top of this A. It's considered its own letter in Swedish, so you won't find it in a dictionary among the A's. If you want to look up a certain word, you have to look towards the end of the dictionary or the book. If you have do people have those anymore? You could just search online. Whatever. I have a ton of dictionaries because I'm old school and I'm old. This character actually has 2 sounds, a short one and a long one, and let's begin with the long sound because that's the generic sound that we would make when we try to pronounce this letter standalone, like just plain saying this letter, and you've heard it already, it's O. So that's how I would say it when someone asks me to pronounce this letter. I would say O. And this is the long sound. It's not O, like in English you would mostly say, you would have a diphthong kind of sound when pronouncing a vowel. Not always, but in the case of O, you would say O and not U or O like we would in Swedish. And yes, this is kind of confusing that the letter U is also pronounced O in some cases, but now we just want to cover this A with the ring on top, and this one is always pronounced O in its long form. Try to repeat this sound after me. O, O, like in this word, åror, åror. And you can hear the difference between the O and the U here. So we have åror, åror, which means oars. It's pretty straightforward. Then we have the short sound, which is O. And you could kind of hear this in the English word lock. Not entirely, but almost. So you have O, O. Say after me, please. O, O. And an example word for this would be åtta, åtta. The word for 8 in Swedish. Åtta. Åror, åtta. Åror, åtta. Can you hear the difference? It's not the same sound that is extended and shortened. We have actually 2 different sounds here. So we have an open O sound, and then we have an O, which is further back. It's not O and O. It's O and O. O. It might be kind of hard to hear the difference, but they use 2 different phonetic letters or characters if you're familiar with the phonetic alphabet, and yeah, so it's not O and O, it's O and O, which is further back. Then we have this letter, and this one is generically, if you just wanna say the letter, you say A. A. And this one actually has 2 short sounds and 2 long sounds. So let's try to say those. So first, we have let's take a long sound again. So first, we have and the first short sound is actually this sound, but shorter. It's not a different sound. It's this sound, but shorter. So we have and Got it? So we have, for instance, träd, which is tree in Swedish. Träd. And then we have själv, which means own, or on your own, or alone, or something like that in English. So we have, and self, also self, yeah. So this one has a short själv, and the word for tree has a long sound, which is then träd. So say after me. Let's begin with the long one. So we have träd. And then the short one is the same sound again, but short. Själv. Right? Then we have another sound which is more open in front of an R, which is pretty weird, but that's how it goes. So let's take a long sound. We have not but You see that my mouth is more open when I say this. So not but So we have this sound in lärare, for instance. This is an in front of an R. So we have lärare. not that trill, but anyway, lärare. And this sound also comes in a short version, which is So we had and then we had like in Lärka, which is lark in English. So we have lärare and Lärka. Lärare, Lärka. Please repeat after me. Let's take the long one first. Lärare. And the short version is Lärka. Then we have the last letter of the Swedish alphabet, which is Ö. And this is how you say it if you just see the letter spelled somewhere. Here, focus on my hand. And this letter also has 4 sounds, 2 short sounds and 2 long sounds. This is bad in the UK, right? I think. So let's not do that. We have, the first one is Ö, like in öl, which means beer in Swedish. Öl. And then we have the short one, which is this one, but short. An example word for this sound would be öppna, for instance. Öppna, which means to open. Öppna. So, yeah, we have öl and öppna. Please repeat after me. Öl, öl. And then we have like in öppna. My guinea pigs are trashing that house. Then we have the last 2 sounds for today. We have which is also like with the it's an open sound. So we have So, for instance, we have öra, öra, which means ear in Swedish. And then the short version would be ört, for instance. Say after me, please. Öra, öra. And then we have the last one, which is ört. That's it. These are our 3 letters and 10 sounds for today, and I really hope that you learned something today. If you didn't, please rewind this video like it's 1995 and watch again, because if you want to sound Swedish, then this is kind of crucial, especially these special sounds in front of an R, because if you don't use them, you will sound foreign. But for understanding you as a Swede, it's not a big deal. So if you don't want to, if you're unable to produce these sounds, it's not a big deal. We will understand you anyway. So if you say lärare instead of lärare, you can hear that's almost not a different, but you will sound pretty foreign if you don't say lärare but lärare. If you like this video, please share it, subscribe to this channel for more Swedish, and hit that like button or dislike button if you hated this video. And if you want to talk to me, you can do that on Discord, and if you want to learn more Swedish, you can do that on sayingswedish.com, where I've got free audio lessons for you and vocabulary lists. And if you want to support this channel, you can do that on Patreon or buy some of my new merch link. All the links are in the description. All the links that you need in your life. And we will see you. I'm getting a bit... I'm everywhere. So, we will see you later in another video. Take care. Hej då!